Welcome to Good as Gold, hosted by Nick Grovich, a show dedicated to helping you understand precious metals and rare coins, how to avoid the pitfalls when buying, and how to understand the inner workings of the precious metals market. Call with your questions now. 602-324-1510. That's 602-324-1510. Or outside the Phoenix area at 800-293-5366. Now, here's the host of Good as Gold, Nick Grovich.
Hi, this is Nick Grovich on Good as Gold. I've got Corey Frampton here with me again today from Mexican Coin Company. He's also out in Carefree, and we're going to talk a little bit about the coin market mostly today. You know, gold is down, silver's down. It really reminds me a lot of back in 1980, 81 when I got in business. We had just crashed from 870 and everybody thought the market was going to turn around any day. The telemarketers are out selling coins and selling gold, and some guys just never said gold was not going to go up. That was too many double negatives, I guess. But so some guys just constantly say gold's going up. So about every 20 years they're right. It also feels a lot like 1999. I remember at that point gold was $250 to $300 an ounce. Nobody was bullish on gold. I mean, everyone thought it was going to $200 or $180. People were saying, "Geez, look at everything we've been throughout the '90s, and still gold's doing nothing." The euro had just come out right before that, and it went from 85 cents to I think $1.25, right in there anyway. And so nobody was interested in gold, and nobody argued with you when you said gold was going down. Like I said, the telemarketers that never changed their tune, of course, were still saying gold was going up, and later in 99 when it did, they were patting themselves on the shoulders for the correct call. But, it kind of feels like that now. Everybody's saying since we went below 1,200, we're going to 1,000, and everybody's taking it for granted we're going to $1,000. So does that mean it's time to buy or it's time that it's going to turn around? I really don't know. The one thing Corey and I talked about on the way here was, people think that if gold, and when I say gold, I mean silver or any of the other precious metals. But when they bottom out, that they're going to hit that bottom and turn around and take off. And it really doesn't work that way. More often than not, it goes more sideways than anything. And, 2008, I think, was more of an exception than the rule, where it bounced off the bottom and then hit a new high. So, it's really time, I think, for people to take another look at why they own precious metals, what their intention is. Maybe take a look. A lot of people buy they want to have 10% in precious metals. Well, their stocks have gone up, their metals have gone down. They might be down to 5%. So maybe you add a little gold or silver at these lower prices, and you don't try and catch the last 10% down, downward move if indeed it comes. It's just hard to say what's going to happen, and I think, the people that are probably sweating it out are the people that put a large percentage of their money or every last dollar they have into gold, silver, or coins, and they need it to turn around. And that's a tough spot to be in because it could take quite a while. It's time too to take a look. For a long time, I've told people stay out of rare coins. And again, I'm not letting Corey get a word in here yet, but
that's all right.
We were talking about his business and my business, and Corey deals with serious coin collectors. Again, mostly in the Mexican. Tell them.
Mexican and Latin American, all the way through the South American countries, and we do some work in the European and Asian areas as well, with Chinese being what it is. It's sort of a different marketplace in that the people that we deal with are more commonly collectors than they are investors. The similarities between the markets are that you're better off either in bullion or in very, very high-end rare coins. The material in the middle has been stagnant for decades, and I really don't expect to see it change much. Some of it's fun to collect, but monetarily, if you're looking at values, there really hasn't been a lot of change. The thing that's dissimilar about the markets is our material is much scarcer.
Right.
That there's just not the quantities of better pieces, so it's much tougher to acquire, and you won't be hearing about that sort of stuff from telemarketers. They can't buy enough of it to sell it.
Right. We were talking about what's considered a rare coin in the U.S. market compared to your markets, and now if you're in coins at all, you'll know the coins I'm talking about. But 1907 high relief St. Gaudens, that's if I can say, one of the more common rare coins. Dealers are familiar with it, not so sophisticated collectors understand it, but everybody thinks it's such a rare coin. And yet, if you look at how many coins have been graded, I don't have that in front of me, but I think it's like 2,000 or 3,000 coins. And the coin goes for $25,000 for an MS-63 and $45,000 for a 65. And I was saying, that seems like a lot of money for a coin when there's 2,000 or 3,000. And tell us what's considered rare in your market.
So a rare coin, pick something. Let's see. We'll take a revolutionary coin, Mexican revolutionary coin, a 6-star Muera Huerta, and that coin there might be. Oh, I suspect there's probably something under 20, maybe 15 pieces that are graded, say, 62 to 64, I think, is the highest, and that's a $15,000 coin today.
Okay, so there's a huge difference.
A huge difference in quantities and availability in the marketplace, and that's pretty common, those kinds of numbers. You can get into coins that are the second or third top population known to exist in the $40,000-$50,000 kind of range in Latin American stuff and things that are real type coins.
Yeah, and that's probably why you're not overrun with investors and telemarketers.
We don't see them. We see the collectors that understand the material, and really for us, we prefer that. We don't like to see people coming into the market that are just trying to throw money at something new. A little bit of understanding goes a long ways. And we deal with people who are new in these areas and want to get started and try to encourage them to learn a little before they go and dive in the deep end.
And that's what so many people don't do. They get a phone call and they get a sales pitch, and they don't realize, I don't know if they realize it's a sales pitch or that they think they're getting financial information, and they just buy. They don't go on the internet, they don't check out the prices, they don't call other dealers. I can tell you so many times somebody will call me after they buy a coin. They'll say, hey, I just got this and I paid $9,000. And I'll say, well, I have the exact same thing here for $2,700. I don't understand why they don't call before they write the check instead of after.
It is absolutely amazing to me to see people who are educated, intelligent people who take calls from telemarketers and that respond to this kind of thing. The assumption, if you're thinking about it at all, is that it can't be common, and if they're calling me, it can't be a good deal.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's correct. And we're talking about rare coins, and one of the reasons I am talking about rare coins, maybe in a little more positive light than normal, is because gold's down. You're going to see that people are going to be pushing rare coins even harder because they're selling less. When gold's down, everyone's selling less, so they've got to push something more. There's a lot of people, a lot of clients that I talk to, just they want to be in coins, and I think Corey summed it up, and I would agree with this. Your core position should just be bullion if that's what you believe in. If you believe gold's going up, then buy gold. But you really either want to have bullion or you want to go into the rarest of the rare coins. You don't want to stop in the middle. The middle is just much too common. You're never going to have enough demand for a common coin because that demand has to be generated by dealers, and that's not what you want.
Once again, here's Nick Grovich.
Okay, Nick Grovich back with you, and I just want to explain why we're talking about rare coins. People always talk about rare coins from an investment standpoint or collector standpoint, and Corey deals granted in different coins. I mean, not U.S. coins, and but he deals with collectors, and it's kind of an exciting, fun market. And I think with the bullion markets down, with precious metals down, a lot of people are going to go out and look for alternatives. Let's face it, a lot of people loved being in the gold market when gold was going from $300 to $1,800. But I know from experience, if gold flattens out, I mean, it's been 3-4 years since gold's peaked out, and it's been a very negative market for 3 or 4 years, and people start getting tired of it, and they start looking for other things. And a natural alternative for a lot of people in the hard money area is rare coins. So, what I want to look at is if you're going that route, or if you have a portfolio big enough that that's something you're going to do, you have to do it the right way. And I think I liked how Corey said it. The guy, if somebody's calling you on the phone 10 times a day, you know that they're not going to sell you the right coin. You can pretty much just discount it and go right along to someone else. Unfortunately, for the most part, if you want to deal in the rare coins, I mean the truly rare coins, you're going to have to go find a dealer. American Federal does deal in these. We have not. I'm not telling you to go sell your gold and go buy rare coins, but it's something we deal in. I deal with a lot of collectors, and you really have to look at it more, I think, from that standpoint as a collectible, and if you make a little money, good, but
we don't encourage people, Nick, to get into rare coins unless it's something that they're interested in.
Exactly.
To do it casually, just as an investment, we don't encourage people to do that. It's a great area. The collectors love it. I love it. It's a lot more fun than dealing in bullion.
Yeah.
And seeing a truly rare, beautiful coin and hold it in your hand is a great thing. I think there's a place for both. I own bullion. I own rare coins. I own rare currency.
Right.
We do all of that, but I think there's timing in the marketplace, and I think maybe now is one of those times, and not only in our area, but in U.S. as well. You were talking about coins today that have been a little out of favor here recently that might be good buying opportunities right now, and if the bullion looks like it's going to continue to slide sideways for a while, that might be something worth looking into for at least a portion of what you hold, if you like that sort of thing.
And it's all based on if you like that, and Corey and I talked all the way to the station, and what I was telling him that's different about my average client compared to his average client. His clients call, they know what they want, they know what they're looking for, and they have a pretty good idea already about what's going on in the market. And for whatever reason, my business has revolved around really getting people out of coins, or trying to tell them what their coins are, or it's less sophisticated people that have been talked into things as opposed to true collectors, and so I've kind of gone a different route.
We do get, Nick, a number of people who are just entering this market. We get a lot of crossover from the U.S. market.
Right.
And for instance, this week I've got a customer who wants to put together a typeset of Mexican Republic gold, and we're going to do it by type and by mint. And so he's asking for advice. He's saying it's outside his area. He's been a collector for a while, but he's just not familiar with this particular area. So we put together a spreadsheet, looked at what was available in populations, picked target grades, and he's just going to go ahead and put a set together on that basis. I mean, he needed the help to understand where he should be.
But the difference is you're teaching him and showing him what to do, not just trying to sell them the first coin you could sell to them.
Exactly, and in our area and in the U.S. in the better material, it isn't simply a function of pulling your checkbook out of your pocket. If you're going to target a minimum grade level and you're going to go out and look for something at the right kind of price, it's not something you can just order on the phone today. And
it's a good market for collectors right now. And I've said this a couple times on the show, and you mentioned it again today. There's so many good coins on the market right now. When I say good, I mean great coins on the market. There's several big collections that are being auctioned off. The biggest one's the Newman collection. I think they started auctioning that last summer. and it's going to go right through 2015, I think.
There's a tremendous amount of material hitting the marketplace all at the same time, and that may not be good for the sellers, but it might create opportunities for the buyers. That there might be a temporary situation where you'll see a lot of volume and prices softening just because of the volume entering the marketplace.
And I think what's happening is a lot of the money, these better coins are soaking up a lot of the money in the marketplace. So some of the dealers who would normally maybe carry a lot of MS65 gold or Morgan dollars, they might be buying real coins right now, and that takes away from what they can put in inventory in the more common coins.
And we're clearly, I think, saying the same thing in that MS65 St. Gaudens are not rare coins.
Right, exactly.
These aren't collector coins.
That's exactly right. It's a quote investor coin. That's really not an investor coin. It's an investor coin because the dealers push it. But I think it's going to be a negative for anything like we were talking about, low end or middle ground type of coin, because there's only so much money, and it's going to go after the better coins. And what's interesting is there's coins, as a dealer, there's coins coming on the market right now that I've never even seen before. We talked about it this morning. There's a 1793 chain cent. Now, if you know anything about coins, you may not know what that's worth, but you'll realize that's a super rare coin. 1793. They made a chain cent, 13 links in the chain. But I think you can understand if you can picture a chain with 13 links, one continuous chain. It looks more like something you'd see in prison than something that would signify unity in a country, so they didn't keep the design that long. But the 1793 large cent it's a classic U.S. coin. Coming up in January, there's an MS66 brown coming to auction, and I'm just amazed that that coin even exists.
I have no idea. Do you have any clue what that might bring?
I would think 400,000 would be really low. I mean, there's no telling on coins like that. It could go for 600. It could go for $1 million. A lot of coins in these collections have gone for over $1 million. You remember when $1 million, that was, everybody talked about, will any coin ever go over $1 million? And now I don't know if there's hundreds, but there's sure an awful lot of them. There probably are hundreds of them. And it's just not that big a deal anymore.
In the world market, that's still a big number. I think the highest Mexican coin that's sold in the last decade would have been a Royal 8 Escudo that sold in a Spanish auction for about $650,000. Last week, 8 Real from the Carlos and Juana. There's only 3 of them known. It's an early Mexican 8 Real sold for right at $500,000. So we don't see the kind of numbers that you're seeing in the U.S. market, but then we're a fraction of the collectors.
Right. That's true. But it's it's amazing that some of these coins bring that kind of money. But it doesn't mean you have to go buy $1 million coin. But if you're getting into coins, that's the type of material you want. You want really significant coins. You want coins that you don't want a coin that some dealer's going to have to say, oh, let's see, that's an 1886, and they have to go look it up to figure out it's rare. You want something that everyone knows right off hand that it's a rare coin, even though they may not know what it's worth. And there's just so many of those types of coins out there from the 1700s, early 1800s right now.
I think price-wise, though, you could be looking at coins that range from, what do you think, on the low, maybe $10,000 or $15,000 up to maybe in the moderate end of this upper range, maybe $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $100,000. What do you think?
Yeah, it's I've seen some coins in $20,000, $25,000 range. I don't think you're going to get much under $10,000.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I don't think you're going to find much that's worth owning under $10,000. So when we come back from this break, we'll talk a little bit more about the coins. If anybody has any questions, nobody's called in. I'm glad to answer questions about the precious metals markets also.
Once again, here's Nick Grovich.
Nick Grovich back with you. If you have any questions about coins or the precious metals markets, give us a call at 602-324-1510. If you'd like to get an update on the portfolio you have, maybe you have coins, maybe you have bullion, you're not sure exactly what it's worth or how it's done, call my office at 480-553-5282. It might be worth when you call the office, ask them to get on the preferred client list. We're going to have a lot of new information here over the next 2 months. With the precious metals down, there's going to be some big changes, I think, in this market. I think, one of the reasons we're talking about coins today, I'm not telling you to go out and start buying rare coins. I think there's going to be a bigger push on rare coins with bullion down, and I think a lot of people are going to be more interested in coins. Let's face it, when gold's going up $100 every other week, nobody wants to do anything but that. And I don't care if it's coins or real estate or stocks. When the market stagnates, people look for alternatives. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to start looking at rare coins and start getting talked into them. And so that's why I think we're kind of trying to head off the trend I think that's coming. Now, if you're just a collector, and I think that's the way really most people should approach this. There's just such great deals out there. I was just looking here, for example, coins I used to like way back in the 80s, but they've graded so much, and there's been such a push on certain areas and such a lack of money in other areas that prices just go into free fall. So, as a collector, I had somebody saying, well, what can I collect and not put a lot of money into? So I thought, well, okay, you could collect some of the silver commemoratives for under $200 a coin. So here's a couple examples, like a Robinson. Used to go for $1,850 and today goes for $170.
Wow.
So you might not make a lot of money on that, but you probably won't lose a whole heck of a lot of money on it at this point either. San Diego in '67 used to wholesale at $6,000. Today it lists for $700.
Wow.
So I'm not saying on especially coins like this is not really high-end coins, but if you like to have fun with stuff that you probably won't lose a lot of money on, you can have a lot of fun with $1,000 where, back in the 80s, you couldn't buy a single coin for $1,000. Now you probably get, 5 or 6 or even 10 coins and have some fun with it. So, again, those coins, I don't know that they're great investments. I think there's something you can have fun with and not really take a lot of risk.
That market in particular has been up and down over the years, too. There's nothing at all wrong with buying something like that because you enjoy doing it, and buying it when it's in a trough like this it's the time to do it.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to be a collector. And you had a good point at the break. We should go over a couple do's and don'ts if you're going to get into this market. I think that's what a lot of people lack. They decide today that they're going to jump into the coin market or bullion market. They get somebody on the phone, they talk them into it, and they're writing a check tomorrow. And I think that's the wrong way to go about it. If you even want to consider being a collector or diversifying or putting money in that market, if you decide that today, you shouldn't be spending money in the next month.
I think that's exactly right, and I think that there's a couple of components to it that are really important. First is finding somebody that you can deal with that's going to treat you fairly and work with as low a possible margin so you can get in and out of this thing at relatively reasonable premiums. Obviously, telemarketers don't fall into that category, and
Right.
and trying to find somebody that's knowledgeable enough to give you information about what you're doing, help you with that side of it. I think that's really important. The other thing that to me is on the top of that list is do buy coins, don't buy plastic.
Right. That's the trend. That's what coins have turned into, is you're buying the plastic, not the coin. There's just so many people, well, it's PCGS or it's NGC, and don't get me wrong, those grading services are the best, but I think you're going back into a collector-driven market. And you can see that by the bids that are placed every day. The better bids obviously are sight seen. That means they want to see the coin before they pay for it. So we're kind of going backwards the nice thing about a graded coin, at least you have a floor on it. I mean, it'll be honored at that grade, but you're going back into a collector's market, and those collectors want to see the coin. I mean, you look at some of these coins that are, well, the commemoratives, which is what I used to collect. Some of them have the nice original toning from the envelopes. You could tell they were in the envelopes. They have the tabs, the bullseye toning. A lot of people don't know what I'm talking about, but that tells a collector that they're original. They were in the packaging for a long time. And what a lot of people sell to investors, because investors don't take the time to learn about any of this, is they dip the coin in jewel luster and it's a bright white shiny coin, because it's easier to sell a bright white shiny coin, but they've just erased 100 years of history from that coin.
There's also a tendency to sell to investors, and when I say investors, generally I mean people who don't know anything about grading and eye appeal and strike and that sort of stuff. There's a tendency to take the coins that are over-graded. If you think about the grading surfaces and think about coins that go into holders, inevitably what happens is the coins that are overgraded stay in holders. The coins that are undergraded get broken out, and they try to put them in higher grades. So
exactly.
The percentages say that there's more overgraded coins out there than there are undergraded. And the overgraded coins are the ones that dealers won't buy. So who do they sell them to? They sell them to people who are investors or who are buying plastic.
And they sell them to the dealers who are selling to the people who don't know any better. And they're just buying plastic. I've bought, again, if it's PCGS or NGC, I don't want to say that those holders don't mean anything, because they certainly do. But I noticed that from the biggest telemarketers, when I see coins from the biggest telemarketers, they're generally the worst looking coins for the grade. Because they're buying, they have a certain amount of coins they need. They can't really afford to be choosy when they need coins, so they buy whatever they can get and they pass it on, and it's in a piece of plastic, so that's good enough. But if you're going to be a collector and you're going to buy real coins, you want to learn what you're looking for.
And don't get us wrong. The issue about should it or should it not be graded, I'm in favor of grading. The greatest percentage of the coins that we sell are graded. It's just knowing when you're looking at a coin whether it's overgraded or not, because that does happen. People have bad days. We're members of both NGC and PCGS, support them both. But nobody does things the same every day. Did you have a bad night last night? Did the old lady kick you out onto the sofa? Or was it a great night? And how do you feel? It isn't. It's pretty precise, but there's room for mistakes.
There's always coins that can go either way and not be wrong.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
There are. There's coins because it's not black and white, and that's why the grading services now have, NGC has star and they have plus grades, so you can have an MS65 plus, an MS65 star. I think you can have an MS65 plus star. So they've got all kinds of ways to try and tell you which coins are a little better than the average. They won't ever come out and say a minus, because they're not going to say any of the coins are worse. And then, of course, you have CAC, which is, I don't even know what that stands for, the CAC, Certified Acceptance Corporation. And John Albanese is in charge of that, and he does a really great job at that. John Albanese is one of the guys who actually started PCGS and then went out on his own to start NGC, sold NGC, and now he does CAC. So what he does is he looks at the coins, and if the coin is, in his opinion, a high grade, high condition for the grade, better coin for the grade, I think he might use a percentage. He puts a CAC sticker on it, and it doesn't make sense for all coins, but I notice a lot of the really high-end coins at auction do go for a lot more if they have a CAC sticker. And it's just,
they bring real premiums.
And it's just because they're getting one more expert to look at the coin, which is basically what you're saying.
Exactly. It's there's just far too many coins out there that are perhaps accurately graded, but aren't high eye appeal, sexy looking, ooh, look at that kind of coins. Those are the coins that you want to try to buy.
And the other thing you have to watch out for, dealers always figure out how to use this against, and it's usually investors, because investors just don't understand the market. So, we just said that CAC coins generally are worth more money. And you have to realize most of what we're talking about are really high-end, really rare coins. So what a lot of dealers will do to maximize their margins is they'll get CAC coins on things that don't matter so much, like an MS-63 St. Gaudens or an MS-64 St. Gaudens, where, yeah, you can get CAC coins, but who cares? But they'll charge an extra $200 or $300 a coin because it has that CAC sticker.
Now, there's a new one for me. I haven't heard that one. It's not being in that market. I think that's great. It's one more way for a telemarketer to add value.
So they do use that against you, and I am in favor of CAC. I think it's great, but like everything else, they find a way to just charge you an extra 20 or 30% for that sticker, and it's not always worth it.
The other thing that I think that the investors don't realize is that there's a big difference between an MS-64 coin that's technically MS-64, but it's flat struck, it's off color, it doesn't have the eye appeal, and the same graded coin that pops. It's a big difference. And the ones you're going to get over through the mail, that sort of thing, are going to be the lower end of that range, even though they're technically correctly graded.
Right. And so that's one of the reasons you really need to deal with somebody one-on-one. I mean, you can't really go through a salesman. The salesman's going to take whatever the boss gives him that day. That's what he's going to deliver. So you really need to work one-on-one with somebody if you're going to go into this market. It can be a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm not trying to talk you into rare coins. I'm trying to educate you a little bit more about rare coins. Corey's an expert on all coins, not just Mexican and Latin American. And these are things
for the promotion.
Yeah, well, I think so. We look at a lot of coins together. So I think we have one more segment left. If you have any questions, give us a call.
Once again, here's Nick Grovich.
Okay, we're back with you. I want to remind everybody that I will be at Financial Fest on Saturday, this coming Saturday. It's at the Westin Kierland. I'm going to give a talk at 10 o'clock in the morning. I think it's, about 45 minutes. I know what I want to talk about. If you show up and you want to talk about something different, I can go on the fly and answer your questions. But, I'm going to talk about what's going on a little bit in the bullion market. I'm going to show you a lot. There's a lot of things I can't show you on the radio. So I'm going to show you charts and graphs. I'm going to show you some things that PCGS has put out that are both good and bad. I'm going to take another look at the coin market. I'm surprised nobody's called me out on saying nice things about rare coins because I haven't done that in an awful long time. But I always said when the timing was right, I would do it. I'm stopping short of just saying everybody go out and buy rare coins. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a lot of people have too much bullion. They're going to be doing things. It's a great time to get into coins if it's something you like.
Are you going to start ramping up your inventory, Nick, do you think, on this kind of material and start stocking some more interesting things as you see them?
Yeah, what I'm doing now is I'm working with some serious collectors, but I can't obviously work with 100 serious collectors. It can't be done, as you know. So I'm working with some more serious collectors, buying specific coins. We just started buying some of the rare, better, the type of coins we're talking about. 1868 $20 Liberty in proof. It's about a $400,000 coin. You don't have to spend $400,000, but if you're serious about it, I'm happy to work with you on building a good collection. I'm not going to promise you're going to make money, but we can build a heck of a collection. If you're interested, call at 480-553-5282. And Corey, if you're interested in Mexican or Latin coins or just learning about that, Corey has a great book of Mexican currency. Tell us about that.
We published a book on Mexican currency that's the most complete work that's been done in about 30 years. And our website, MexicanCoinCompany.com, you can see we stock a lot of books on a variety of different subjects. We have people in South America that are authors on Guatemala and Chile and Peru and just a real diverse bunch of stuff. If you find any of that interesting, you can find those books on our site. I'd be happy to talk to you. At the office number is 480-921-2562. We stock a lot of material. You can go on our website and see the kinds of things that are available and the pricing. And I'm not an expert in the U.S. coins, but I think this time right now, I agree with Nick that there is it makes a lot of sense to start thinking about maybe getting into coins a little bit more and keeping the core positions in bullion. And I think it's a good idea what Nick's talking about doing, and starting to stock some things for people that are just edging into this, that want to nibble a little bit and see if they like it. And that's always the best way. Don't jump in and all at once, but try a few things. See if you enjoy doing it and get a feel for the marketplace.
Yeah, I think if you don't enjoy it, you just don't do it.
You shouldn't do it. If you don't enjoy it,
if you can't buy a coin and get into the history and why it's valuable and,
exactly,
and all that, I don't think it's worth getting in, because, I mean, you see this every day. Coins in general, people don't make money on them when they're just buying. When you throw money at somebody and say, "Go make me money," how did you make your money in the first place? Probably somebody didn't make it for you. You probably went out and worked your tail off and you made the money. So I have people come in, I've spent $1 million on coins, and I think, well, you're obviously a bright guy because you had the $1 million to spend. Then you hand it off to somebody and they magically turned it into $500,000. So don't even go into coins if you don't want to do the work. I mean, you have to do the work and you have to enjoy it, or you're just really just guaranteeing you're not going to enjoy it or do very well.
We tell people that historically the better coins have gone up in value. Have they gone up as much as bullion when it's been on a run? No. Or the stock market, but when it's been on a run. But overall, the best coins have done well.
Right.
I wouldn't tell you that it's a great investment. I wouldn't tell you to do it as an investment. But if you enjoy it and you're careful, you can do this, make a little money on it. I wouldn't plan on it.
So let me plug our company again, American Federal. We buy, sell rare coins, all types of bullion. You can go to our website, AmericanFederal.com. If you want to see Corey and I go back and forth here, you can go to goodasgoldadvice.com. We videotape the radio sessions, which is kind of interesting because I forget we're being videotaped, so it's kind of embarrassing. And the girls were on a few weeks ago. You could get on there and see who's actually taking care of you at American Federal. But if you have questions on your portfolio, on whether it's bullion, rare coins, semi-rare coins, and you want another opinion, if the market's down, this is the time to take a look. Make sure you're in it for the right reasons. And I know I keep saying that, but every day I get somebody that calls me and says, "Hey, I bought this, I bought that," and they were promised the moon and the stars, and instead they're scratching their head, wondering how to make the money up. So it's not a place to just speculate. A lot of people, like I said, they do it the right way. They buy it as a core holding, stick it under the bed. And if you bought it for that reason, really, you don't care if it's $500 an ounce or $5,000 an ounce. It's just something you stick away and don't worry about.
And it's good diversification. The whole concept of buying bullion to diversify your portfolio, not to make money, is a good idea. I think people do the same thing with coins. Knowledgeable people who are buying coins, same difference. Just trying to spread it out. It isn't so much trying to make a great deal of money as it is to get it some diversification and a store value.
It's hard to do that when the stock market's roaring ahead.
That's
everybody wants to put it in stocks, just like when real estate was going. Everybody, well, why would I put it anywhere else? I'm making a fortune in real estate. But then when one market crashes, another one takes off, you're stuck holding the bag, I guess. So, reevaluate what you have. Make sure it's serving whatever your goal is. I had a call from a gentleman, and he said, "I'm a gambler. I just want to gamble. I want to give you some money and gamble." Well, that's his goal. I mean, it's not the way I would go at it, but if that's what he wants to do and he wants to gamble, he understands he can make money or lose money. There's not a problem with that. But most people aren't gamblers. They think it's a sure deal.
Gamblers are the telemarketers' favorite clientele.
They sure are.
Nick, have you the bullion market? Are the premiums rising on the physicals? Is there any indication that that's going on in the marketplace?
That's actually a really good question, Corey. Yeah, and this happens. It's interesting. The premiums on a lot of the silver is going up. My cost on Silver Eagles has gone up, I think, 70 cents in the last week. So even though silver has gone down, the cost of buying it's gone up. So that usually tells you that we're at a point where the general public's buying. I don't know, several months ago, I told people to take a look. If they're looking at silver, they should buy junk silver because there was no premium on it. You could buy it at spot level.
Talking about 90%.
Yeah,
bags.
The 90% bags, the quarters, dimes, half dollars. And the reason I liked it is silver was down $3, but you're saving $2 premium, so you got a $5 discount. Well, now that silver's right around 16, there's no junk silver to be had. You're going to pay $3 or $4 over spot for it. So
it really hasn't.
So
changed
it's really like $20 silver is what you're paying for the silver. So that's usually an indication that there's a turnaround or some massive buying going on. I haven't noticed that much of a discount on gold, although I see, as you were
There's
saying
a little
earlier,
bit
on
of creep
Maple
in
Leafs,
premium,
a little
just
bit,
a little
$5,
creep.
$10 more than it used to. So that's it for now. Give us a call. That's all I have time to say.